All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday. We got a full week this week. It's September 9th, 2024. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. We have everything set up. So, we want to get a good idea and see what the narrative and what the market will be focusing on this week. We do have some data. This will be later in the week, but we'll look at that later. Earnings are a bit light overall, and this is the beginning of rollover week, which can be a little bit weird. It's just a FYI, so we'll look in that just a moment. All right, so let's start off with our process. So we'll look at this quote here from Charles M. Schultz. Just remember, once you're over the hill, you begin to pick up speed. Definitely agree with that one. Definitely took a lot for me to um, realize my age and really clarify what I'm doing. Once I have now, I'm definitely picking up speed a little bit, and it's definitely a different battle. So just a loop of there, going up the hill and going back down the hill. So I feel that there. Not too much for the earnings here for Monday, or even on for the before or the after. Maybe Oracle, I think. Really not too much. Probably want to keep an eye on GameStop just for the shits and giggles. Outside of that, I don't think any of these are too notable. A little bit for Adobe and Kroger, possibly. That's on Thursday. Again, I did mention that we do have some data coming for today. So just going to be the wholesale inventories and the consumer credit. These are going to be a little lighter overall. And then this NFIB, I'm not even sure what this is, to be honest, but this is at 3 o'clock in the morning. This is at 7 o'clock. So don't expect too much from 7 o'clock here, but you do want to be mindful of it. Who knows? I believe this is a blackout period, so there will be no Fed speakers as we have FOMC next week alongside the press conference. For going back to this week, CPI is at 5:30 on Wednesday. Then we have our PPI and jobless claims, just all the producer information on Thursday at 5:30. And then on the Friday, we had the IPI and then the consumer sentiment, the preliminary. Next week, we're going to have a little more information for like the retail sales. But again, we'll get into next week, motherfucking next week. Just a reminder where we came from on Friday with the, let me put this on this screen actually where we came for on Friday for the sectors. Look at our review on Friday. You can get a good idea where this came from. This was the first full week of September. But all right, since we have this bit of information, let's go ahead and throw on Jigsaw. Price clock should not be on right now. Market open. Okay, so let's start off with our typical process since we have a good idea of what we're looking at. We have our quotes, we know specific headlines and some catalysts to be aware of. We have our equities and then our quote board that we're going to check out now. So overall, we are all green, everyone but Apple. Boo to Apple. We've been down a little over 5% for the VIX here. We have tech leading the way, about 80 basis points here. The leader here we have Tesla and Amazon. So I'm assuming discretionary will be leading. Discretionary is, let's say discriminatory. Discretionary is a leader alongside tech. So this is definitely a solid posture for the day so far. And then coming up behind, we have financials and the healthcare. So this is really very nice for the buyer's case. So that's all nice and all, but we do need a little more context. So before we get ahead of looking at the quote board, my apologies. Again, you can look at our videos for Friday, but just for a brief overview, do we want to, if we look at this, is this considered bearish or bullish? So it's Monday, we make sure we're getting ahead of don't get ahead of ourselves. Bearish or bullish. We close Friday and then we gap up 8 points. Can't really test much of that low. And it's been a steady grind this whole time. This seems, this shows a bit of a strength. especially relative to where we came from on Friday. We could not get over these, what was it, 70, right? 72. We couldn't get over 72, and we damn for sure couldn't get over 40, the 40s for the longest. But in the overnight, we were able to get over the 40s without a problem. And we're heading towards those 70s. Still rejected so far, but a smooth get over those 40s, and now we're drifting up. So a sign of strength for the buyers, for the buy side, or this is a bit of pressure being released, waiting to short uh, some more highs for the sell side. So again, just from a quick glance, this looks a bit a sign of strength. And then it's the same situation for the NQ. We could not get over these mid 500s. We got over pretty smoothly today. We were able to
Block
test this
sell.
zone here for this 600 halves and pretty much hit our head right on that ceiling. And then we're kind of like selling off just a little bit to this VWAP. So very nice overall for the buyers on both sides, but uh, very nice on both sides, and we have decent volume. And buyers are definitely trying here. We're up about 7,000 on the Delta, about 230,000. Oh, excuse me, yeah, 230,000 for the ES, and about 100,000 on the volume for the NQ. So a solid push on the buyers portion, but just a little more context of where we're coming from. This was a massive sell week. It's a pretty big sell week. Looking at the monthly candle, this the start of September. This is the monthly candle, and in the weekly, this was a rejection from this 2 week balance range, bull flag, impulse, consolidation, impulse down, engulfing those two candles and a good portion of this impulse candle here for August. So again, this is all relative and you need some context. But we're bullish on the higher time frame. On the highest time frame, we're becoming a bit bearish or a bit weak on the weekly. For the daily, the bears have the momentum with the huge impulse below, consolidation, and then another impulse lower. So this is favoring the bear side still, but as of right now, they are slipping the control. Whether this is as intended and they're kind of holding off. This is what we saw last week, where the notice the delta. We look at this in real time, but the delta max was like 25K. Buyers weren't really trying early in the day, and then they just really turned the gears on and really pushed it as we started, as RTH started, and as we continued. So it was a lot of effort for the buyers to kind of push up, and then the sellers pushed it back down. This is similar to the case what we're seeing here, but we need more information. This isn't enough. So as of right now, we're still favoring the bears as they have momentum and structure and sentiment, and there's like light data overall. So the buyers are really going to need to muster up some energy to really propel prices with limited catalysts, to our understanding. Same situation here for the NQ. Again, there's really not too much to talk about. We'll have a little more information. The goals for the Bears as they are in control. The goals for the Bears would be really to protect the really just the 5,500, just to keep it clean. So the 5,500 would be like in here. So protect these 5,500s, not have too much excursion above. And then for the NQ, they want to stay under the, what would it be, like the 900s? Yeah, stay below these two lows for Wednesday and Thursday, which is about the 820s. So that's about 240 points for the NQ and about 50 points for the about 40, 50 points for the S&P 500. All right, so we have all this information here. Again, we looked at our quote board a while ago. I've got a solid understanding that this is a fairly bullish day. Excuse me, this is fairly bullish posture, but given the context of where we are, S&P 500, we are well below the prior IB low and the overnight low for the prior day. So though this is a fairly decent updrift in different contexts, this would be a big, you will want to stalk a buy. But given the context of where we are, we're still under last week's, um, the Friday's overnight low. Same situation here for the NQ. So we'll need more information. For them to get above, that'll be above the 700s for the NQ. And to get back above the overnight low, that will be the 70s for the ES. If we're looking at prices, we're not interested in buying until they are above the 70s, the 5470s. Honestly, I'm not. Yeah, I don't see any reason to buy. I'm actually going to disable my. Yeah, I actually have my. You can see it down here. I actually have my buying. I actually have. I'm clicking it right now. I have my buying disabled. So yeah, there would be no kind of buying on our side today, at least initially. There's really not too much that we can see here. The fact that we're just well under all this range, we really should be looking for times to times to sell. So we just need a little more information. Anything else is going to be a bit speculative in nature. But as of right now, literally everyone is green. And thank you, Apple, for that. So let's see if we can just get a little more information. Really not too much to look at on the market profile. Just a reminder where we at. We are below this big VPOC zone from last week, which is the September composite so far, which is near the 5520s. And then the same situation, but it is the 900s for NQ. Relative to the composite overall, since April, we have a bit of a gap. Not a gap, we have a bit of a valley, low volume node between the 600s and the 800s, which is about where we're at right now. So possibly we'll expect some wider ranges and some two-way trading until price is really asserted with some particular force in one direction or the other. We're calling up some big balance zones from the composite for the ES, headed to that VPOC zone with the above the 5500s around the 520s that we just mentioned. We have no interest in looking to buy as buyers are at a complete disadvantage as of right now. But do remember that this can change at any time. And I do believe, again, without being too speculative, the way we started the year, we started off with a solid sell week, and then that was completely engulfed. Not engulfed, but a potential reversal. Very similar to the structure that we're seeing here to a degree. So if we close this week near those highs, then that's really going to be interesting. I think we have a real possibility to propel ourselves upwards. But again, that's way too speculative, and that's um, very forward looking. Again, there's no data today, Monday or Tuesday, with CPI and PPI coming on Wednesday. So something just to be mindful of. We may just have just some pure trading until then. I will mention that the non-farm payroll, the that SOC from last week. I'm looking on my other screen right now. You know, it's probably if I look at this on a different screen. Yeah, I'm gonna put this non-farm payrolls back up because I think that's actually where we just hit our head, if I'm not mistaken.
Block by.
Yeah, we got some people liquidating before. It's gonna be an interesting day. So that's that non-farm payrolls there. The bottom is at 720s. Just want to see if we're gonna test that. Did I put that on a daily? Damn it, I put that on a daily, right? Yeah, I did. All right, so we got about a minute and a half. Go ahead and make sure we have our timer ready. Pull up this script. Let's get a quick test. Okay. All right, we got about a minute. Go, 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 go. Non-farm payroll. So again, we want to make sure that we take our time today. Take our time and remain objective. Focus on the sell side. It may not show up as soon as the session starts, but the sellers are innocent until proven guilty. Okay, got 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ink. Nice.
Block sell.
Immediately selling off. Immediately.
Block buy.
Volume started at 250,000. We'll see where we are. We're gonna go ahead and throw on price clock. My apologies. We'll do the ES. All right. I'm gonna put myself on mute. I'm gonna collect myself, get some notes together. Bear with me.
Block sell.
That's as of right now. Still about wishy-washy. We're seeing same excursion to the downside. We are the upside. Some nice little stomp runs. Some whatever was going on with the selling at the initial. Just some bigger orders. Really not too for sure at the moment. Again, we'll need a little more information. Let's scoot this in. We got our 138 mini candles. Our 138 mini candles. And then our 3-minute bars here. Again, we're about 100 points away from that floor of the non-farm payroll. And we're quite close to from the S&P 500, that 70s, the 54 70s. We just want to see how they're going to react. Once they hit the 70s, if there's going to be any kind of retaliation from the sellers. As of right now, sellers aren't stepping on too much. But all right.
Block buy. Block buy. Block sell. Block buy. Block sell.
Hanging out these highs. V pockets up here.
Block sell.
Not so much for the NQ. They're trying to get a little closer though. All right, looks like we're starting to find some weight now. Got another 30 seconds or so.
Block sell.
We're seeing some a little resilience from the buyers. It'll get us about a +1 for now. Again, we want to take all this with a grain of salt. Deepak shifting upwards for the for higher prices. Let me double check the data for today. I know we looked at it earlier. Yeah, that's at 7 o'clock. So yeah, we'll see. So I mean, as of right now, we're looking at an open test drive. We are using our overnight levels as some support. Speaking of overnight levels as support, probably be a good idea if we hit some of these zones. So we just have some structure, but I don't really see much. Maybe something like here.
Block buy.
We'll give a good
Block
one.
buy.
And then this is our overnight low. You know, maybe one like in here. So about 3 there for the NQ. They're pushing back upwards.
Block buy. Block buy. Block buy.
And then we'll give that same respect to the ES who's about to hit this non-farm payroll from
Block
last week.
sell.
That's what that purple zone
Block
is.
buy. Block sell.
One.
Block buy.
That's the
Block
overnight
sell.
low. That's really like
block
10
sell,
points, but that's fine. All right, we got three zones for each. All right, so we got some sort of reference. If we find ourselves back at lower prices, we know where we're at. Okay, it's going to be the end of this third 3 minute candle. Got some passive buyers trying to chase this up here. Sellers were definitely trying to push it here a little earlier. I didn't see it. We got about 2K negative delta there. Same thing over here. Got a fair amount of sellers really pushing it, but buyers are coming to play today. So we're still bullish on the higher time frame. We're incredibly bearish on the daily with the momentum, and bearish with the overall intermediate trend with the lower highs and lower lows overall. Do remember the S&P 500 was a little more sturdier over the relative recent past, but again, that shit was in the past. We're talking about now. Bears have control as of right now until the buyers can prove otherwise. So if this is going to be a day for the buyers, then by all means, they
block
can have at
buy,
it. But it's not going to be something that we're going to be participating in. And again, that's primarily because we're going to have our wind. They're going to be looking for people to sell at all times. People who need to break even, people who want to initiate new shorts, loss of confidence. You just really have a lot of forces kind of working at you. The only thing you have in your favor is the highest time frame and that the stock
block
market is
sell,
meant to go up. So even if we do see a sell side like an engulfing pattern here, and we completely break these lows, we do need to be careful for the sell side as well, as there's a lot of room under us with those zones that we created from the overnight. So again, it appears that we're finding some sort of rejection from the
block
prior day's
buy,
range. Where are we at? We still did not hit the non-farm payroll, so we're still near that overnight low from Friday. And then we're still under the same situation for the Nasdaq. So again, a solid opening for the bulls, but just overall, that's not. It's
block
flaccid. It
buy,
doesn't mean anything as of right now. We need more information. So I'm gonna take a break, and typically when I take a break, something's gonna happen. So yeah, I'll be right back. I need some water.
block sell,
Actually, before I go, just a quick look. Again, we're getting extremely weak here on the S&P 500. Won't be surprised if we
block
break some
buy,
of these zones, and if that's the case, we know exactly where we may be heading. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit in case we do find our way down. So again, these much more ranges than what we're seeing here. As of right now, we are about what is this, 12 points of range on the ES, and about 75 for the Nasdaq. So again, we're only 12 minutes in, almost halfway near done with the bracket. This isn't the most range, but again, we haven't had
block
any, much
buy,
excursion to the upside or to the downside as far as breaking like a coiling range. So maybe if when we do explode here, we'll see what happens. And do remember that we have the 7 a.m. data coming in 18 minutes. So who knows how that's going to change this moving puzzle. But as of right now, the sellers want to defend their non-farm payrolls area and that prior overnight low zone. And we'll see if the 7 a.m. data is going to maybe spike it up or spike it down and see how they respond. But we have another about 17 minutes to see how we end this bracket. And then we'll have a little more information, a few more clues that we can work with. And again, just a reminder, I'm not looking to participate in any of this at the moment. We're pretty much sitting on the sidelines today for Monday, unless something just really screams at us. And we'll do so with like very light size, if even live. We may just do simulation. We're really just taking a bit of a break just to stay focused as we have CPI on Wednesday, and then we have the debate with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump tomorrow on Tuesday night, which may bring some volatility or not. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But again, we'll wait and see here. It looks like we're starting to possibly reverse back up. Um, Again, we do have that non-farm payrolls for the S&P 500 right above us, that low. So we want to see if there's going to be a response to that. I'm curious just to see what's going to happen. And then the Nasdaq, we're still about 70 points away from there. So a bit of a ways away. All right, I'll be back.
Block by. Block sell. Block by. Block by. Block sell.
All right, so I came back. Looks like we're doing a fair amount of coiling. Situation where we're gonna have an open auction, kind of trading around this open, a little bit up, a little bit down. We have some sellers here near the highs. 10 minutes left until we have that data that comes out. Sellers with decent positioning. However, not much effort above us. Possibility we may have some stops above. Wouldn't be the worst thing to see a possible breakout. I may or may not try this if I can get this going. Let's get this on this 1 minute.
Block sell.
I'm looking at these 1 minute candles now. Yeah, not bad for the NQ. I'm gonna be late on the NQ. Yeah, I would have got stopped at possibly 10 points, 68, 68, 68. They've probably been stopped out about there.
Block buy.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to the time. So yeah, as of right now, we're kind of like peaking up and we're selling off. That was about 17, 18 points. So these rotations to the downside, they're not, you're not seeing any kind of slinging back up as we're heading back up. It's, the buyers are defending that 54.65s area. So we're not seeing much give back on that pullback, though there was a nice rotation on the NQ. That was about 20 points, which makes about sense. About 20 points for ES and about 3-4 points for the ES. So they pierced those highs, they pulled back for that first bar, and now we're finding our way back up to close that 1 minute candle. So now are we gonna see an impulse
Block
above
buy.
and continuation? That may have been the better point for you to do that small
Block
little
buy.
breakout. But even still, we're having a little bit of a struggle above us, and we have the S&P 500 that's right here next to the non-farm payroll. So I'm curious what the 7 a.m. data is, what effect it's gonna have. And again, we have more of this pushing here. Yeah, it's not enough energy to do that to want to do that breakout. So I'm essentially just putting a note, just talking about the that breakout trade that I was looking at. Just a reminder, just to have more information overall before we attempt to speculate with that. There's really not much emotion to want to have stops there. It's not necessarily it may be arbitrary for some people as they don't have their non-farm payroll sign not signed, but their non-farm payroll SOC above us for both products as we do. So it's visible to us, but maybe not to other people. And we need to make sure that we're putting our stops that would be with other people. You know, seller. We just said earlier that sellers were not really initiating too much so far. So if that's the case, then what reason will we have? Oh shit, these singles for NQ. And then get back to this contract premium. We just mentioned I do want to make a comment on the contract premium during this rollover week, but we have the
Block buy.
that was a new high, I think. Yeah, it was a new high. Just those stops they had to like gut punch price to get above. But anyways, the just making sure that there's enough stops that's going to be there where we replace our entry. If we're going to do a breakout trade, we need to be a part of the story, and it needs to be a narrative to have like a shitload of stops there, multiple failures, times where like, oh, are they going to break the level? Then they ended up failing, reversing, stopping out some people. We found our way back, try doing it again. Oh, this is it, and then they do it again. We want to have stops like that, so that way, we're in a situation like there. Then we will put our buy stop, and then we can use the order book to see like, oh shit, there's some liquidity there as well. Some big passive sellers. So let's put our stop there with them, and then we just go along with the story. Simple as that. Give ourselves like a 10, like a rotation as a stop. There's no way we should have like a full move back as we just saw a little earlier. That should be like a go with, and then you can place your stop back to break even or drag it up or what have you. So just a note for me there. So that was like 43 minutes. It's like 40 minutes. All right, so yeah, again, just adding some more specific notes about that breakout. I'm gonna start putting some timestamps in my videos. That'll be useful for the people that are watching, and then just even myself.
Block buy.
And then we have about a little over 2 minutes. Again, we want to have a little more. Make sure we're just taking our deep breaths as we head into this data. Again, this wholesale inventory should be rather low key. Should be rather low key. But again, we want to be open for anything. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take our snapshot here. We haven't looked at the poll board at all. And I'm also gonna make a note about that. This is
Block buy.
658 highs.
Block buy.
As we're pushing into this SOC range. So during this little move that we just saw, Apple starting to catch back up. Everyone's doing fairly well. Yeah, there's no reason you would want to short this.
Block buy.
It's a bit grindy for sure. But that's a hallmark of bullish action. So now we're getting back into that SOC range, which is all in here. Potential for this break and retest area. But again, we want to see, oh, my apologies. I want to see if we're going to have a push upwards before we potentially look short. And again, we're going to have like a light stop. Let's do our breathing.
Block sell.
So that's the wholesale inventories right there. All right, we got about 40 seconds. All right, they're clawing their way back up. All right, let's see. Put this back on 1 minute. All right, another 5 seconds. And this will be the minute candle. And again, we do have this VPOC here below us. We got some sell liquidity showing up. Yeah, we're just teetering really. Um, So it's a whole lot of buying delta up here. These prices aren't staying down. Yeah, I'm still gonna give this like a +1. What does that 5 minute candle look like? Okay. So I've asked myself those questions. Come on, come on.
Block buy.
Hmm. 6 minutes in.
Block buy. Block sell.
All right, let's see if we can do this quote board. Okay. So that was when we did it at the high. So pretty much we just went sideways since then, or as far as like the time. So I mean, this quote board is still relevant here. Apple, Broadcom is holding it up. Finance, passive sellers trying to step in. We'll see if they're how easily they're filled.
Block buy. Block buy. Block buy.
All right, so they should have hit those stops for that past structure from yesterday. Trying to find the best way to show it.
Block buy. Block buy.
Oh, my apologies. At least for the S&P 500 here, though not the case for the NQ.
block buy, block buy, block buy, block buy,
All right, looking like a +2, maybe +2.5 now.
block buy, block buy, block sell,
Nice. And fix this window.
block buy, block sell,
All right, so what are we looking at?
block buy,
Bullish on the higher time frame, intermediate. We're still more on the sell side. Seeing decent excursion above us. 1,000 lots up there. Are they gonna reach them though? Yeah,
block buy,
looks like they split up. See if there's any kind of urgency. They're kind of stepping down just a little bit, the creeping. So we made it back to the 80s. Above those singles, still under the contract premium though.
block sell,
Okay. They catch a little selling pressure and they're immediately heading back up, but they're going to see if there's going to be any kind of struggle on the buyer side. If so, around what area do they struggle at? Possibly the 78s and these 10s for NQ. But it's only been another 30 seconds. We'll see. As of right now, it's fairly
block
bullish.
sell,
Coiling to the upside. Higher highs, higher lows. More coiling. Squeezing up.
block buy,
Big impulse through. Back near, right on top of the IB high for the NQ. Not so much for the S&P 500. Back into the middle of that, towards the lower portion of that SOC range. Resiliency across the board from what we're seeing. All right, we'll do another copy. Today is September 9th. That'd be like 20s. All right, we're starting to see they're crawling back again, and those sellers passive though, still kind of creeping there near that 80 figure. So we got another 5 seconds.
Block sell. Block buy.
Down 21. Do like that. What's the range that I be? It is 13 points. So we're gonna be compressing a little bit. Yeah, it's just getting quiet. I did not have my view up. So yeah, I ended up liquidating that one. My thoughts. Yeah, wee bit annoying.
Block sell. Block sell.
Ah, bro, look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Block
That's
buy.
wild. I got a, I got it right here. I was like, you know what? Okay, hold on. I just think that's funny. But okay, all right, let's get back. Next play. All right, next play. So they ended up hitting this IB mid. Yeah, I'm just doing my best to. Yeah, just a little upset with that. I don't think I never gave it a chance. It was lower highs, lower lows, majority of the time. All these are red candles, and they're still red candles now. Um, I am getting out because I had just really tight wrists, which was just like which was 3 points. It really wasn't much. But the fact that the buyers continue to withstand and kind of hold, and ES was being extremely resilient, which made me get out of that trade just a little bit. Um, that and looking at my P&L, I'm not gonna lie, so I'm gonna write that down. Looking at my P&L, it's like let me go ahead and take my little, 7 to 1, and so I can get a little close. And now I'm sitting here, just looking at the price go down.
Block
That
sell.
really didn't make sense. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that. But also, this is why it's important for us to mention where is what's the destination of our trade. The 4 questions that Josh Schuler's mentioned. Um, what's the point of this trade? What's the theory of the trade essentially? Um, what's the destination? And for the first question, so what's the theory and what's the destination? And what's the second question would be, what are you willing to risk? What have you risked? And 3 and 4 would be, what would tell you that you're right and what would tell you that you're wrong.
Block
I was
sell.
mentioning this a little earlier, but I didn't actually get the thought out. But not answering those questions, it will at least be the midpoint, which we have gotten to this midpoint for the NQ. If this was going to be a balanced price action and more of this two-way trading, still higher highs and higher lows for the most part, or just some sort of defense back here at the open. Uh, this was just throwing me off a little bit, but I was too tunnel vision with this and not paying attention to the position that we were in. But being um, being aligned with our plan and understanding what we're looking for, would have had a better idea that this is working in our favor, and nothing that we were seeing was telling us that we were wrong. We're making lower highs and lower lows. Every single bar was red and still is red on the 1 minute and the 3 minute. The what would tell us that we were wrong if we're pushing and flirting near our highs, basically, which is, I mean, the price came back up, so I mean, there was nothing went against us, and we got out for emotional reasons and looking at our P&L. So I mean, though, yeah, we got X amount, but I'm not saying like should have, could have, would have. But even if we got out at the first green candle on the 1 minute close at 51, which is 40 points away. I believe that's just unacceptable on my behalf, which is my opinion. But I'm a little hard on myself in different ways. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed with that.
Block sell.
Also, and the fact that we had such tight risk, we this would have been a better situation to add into your trade, since our position was so well. Given the 1 minute candles, we had an opportunity to do that on a few occasions, especially once we got under that IB mid. That would have gave us at least two, which would have been right before we entered. So as we were thinking on entering, as we were thinking on exiting, that would have been a position for us to consider um, adding to our position. And again, we're not looking at anything to on the buyer side at the moment. That button has been disabled all day. I'm actually going to put a note about that as well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I have that note about the four questions. Because I know I've mentioned it before. Shooter on the market is undecided. And also, it's a possibility that we may have a bounce here. We have the S&P 500 testing their open and testing their open here for the NQ as well, though we traded a little below it. Just a thought. Again, I'm not looking to do long or anything at the moment by zero means. But if this is going to be a day where they're going to use this nice gap up and hold within the range that they're creating, this would be the time for them to do it now.
Block buy.
So I also know myself today, and I feel like the fact that I'm a little annoyed about that specific trade. If the next trade I take, if it does end up being a loser, I can see how that may be possibly a bit triggering. Just need to make sure that we have our. This might be a situation to it's like actually buy, but I'm not gonna do it. But I really feel like
Block
this would
sell.
be yeah. This is why I don't want to do it. I really feel like I'm buying in here. I was really gonna buy like around these 65s. I probably would have did like a market order. But where would you have your stop? Again, where are you targeting? I would be targeting the IB high on the basis it's gonna be like two-way trading with this stop below the low. I'm looking at the freaking the Nasdaq charts. My bad. But yeah, for the EX, we're here at the 60s forward. You can have your stop under. I think we actually just would have got hit, basically at like 62, 61.75, like a tick below that open. So I mean, you've been risking 3 points, a little over 3 points to yeah 6. So that at least be that 2 to 1, and then the overnight high will be another 10 points above. But this doesn't look well. What will show you that you're correct? You have the green candles, and we're not seeing that. We're seeing red candles um, at the moment. Okay. But just because that shows up, that's something. That's a candle that they need to keep. This is truly bearish. This candle is going to be eaten up. Okay. So I put a sell stop here at the low for NQ. I'm willing to risk at least just from my hard stop. I doubt we're going to get back into this open, and really just targeting mainly this gap. And this gap goes down to like 360, 380. Of course, that'd be like, a far stop or what have you. But the way that we're
Hard
kind of
sell.
compressing and these untouched lows. But ideally, I don't want to see just like a straight
Block
catapult
sell.
down now like this. There's a possibility that this may come back up. It's going to be a little bit overextended, but I'm going to just leave it as it is. So I'm in the trade right now, and we'll see how long. But this has a tendency to like to come back because we're just a little stretched out. Will it tell us that we're wrong if we get back near these highs? If so, the highs of this candle that is. High of this candle is, and again, I'm not risking
Block
all the way back
buy.
to the open. High of this candle is near the 20s.
Block sell. Block buy.
Okay, so this
Block
is
sell.
decent, but we need to like actually close on it as well. We got another 10 seconds. The fact that ES is starting to break theirs as well may be something to look into.
Block buy.
Or is it going to be any kind of continuation? And do remember we had this little bit of a gap. Ooh,
Block sell.
trying to get this to show on here. Goodness gracious. But yeah, it's a little bit of a gap. Doesn't mean we're going to get the whole thing. And what would tell us that we're right? Or we'll have some consecutive green, some consecutive red candles actually. So if we don't have these consecutive red candles, we're going to go ahead and jump out of this trade. If not, we may have to get out of it early because again, I'm not. This really shouldn't be something I should take a loss on. No way in hell they should like come back. I mean, we may take a loss, but it shouldn't stay. We really shouldn't have. We shouldn't take heat on this rather. If we do, possibly the situation has changed because that's one green candle. So I mean, this is not good. So we're gonna go ahead and put our stop at least above that green candle. If we're taking out, that's fine, but we don't want a higher high. Now, I was close to getting stopped out. I did not get stopped out. That's wild. I totally should have got stopped out. Okay, cool. I got stopped out there. All right. And that's fine. So I want to see how that rule is gonna go. I'm gonna go back and re-review that and see how that felt. But that was at what time are we in? Like 1:17. We'll say like 1:14 ish. So putting a stop above the first opposite candle specifically. So yeah, I just want to see how that feels. So just for this breakout trade, just to kind of keep it simple, what will tell us that we're
Block
right?
sell.
We will see candles in our favor. What will tell us that we're wrong? If the first candle is going to be green, we want to have our stop, below that. So in a situation like this, maybe we should have gave it like a little more time, or hell, break even. If it
Block
does,
sell.
if we do have continuation, it's little shit like this that we need to kind of clean up. You know what I mean? But it's what we're working on. I'm doing my
Block
best. My
buy.
job is tonight get my job is just to stay aligned because like right now I'm break even a little negative for like fees and commissions on a day that I'm fairly aligned, but I rushed it a little earlier in the day. Yeah.
Block buy.
So ranges are definitely a little tighter today. Oh, oh man, the ink. Oh, damn it. The NQ tested their SOC low, and this was a clear rejection from there. This is where I entered. I was just
in the 1 minute bar is kind of stuck in this candle here, but I ended up getting positioning up here and sold like and covered here. You know, understanding this context, and we're having some possible rejection there. That should have been a sign for me like to really add here. So I mean, really, this move from 7, because I had it like 717. I mean, even going down to this low 717, that's like 100 and about like 110 essentially. You know, we had a couple times that we could have added there as well. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not, I'm not happy about this one. Very good job with um, notating this and staying aligned and everything, but I'm a little bothered. Wait, does it show the executions here? Hmm, wait, trade statistics for today. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That was pretty bad. Yeah, that's pretty bad. 4 trades. Hmm. They're
Block
all
buy.
they're all fairly decent. You know, 'Yeah. Today is gonna be a day. I'm gonna have to cut out early. I'm a little bit upset, and this is gonna be for just a little bit annoyed. Of course, we can look at this IB low for a potential short here for the ES, so on and so forth. We can be here getting a little more information, but man, I'm just a little bothered by the just the
Block
just,
sell.
just the way I handled everything today. The way I handled everything today. I did a good job overall, but um, yeah, just little small nuances, man. Small little nuances we got to clean up. But I think anything today is gonna get me a little flustered, so I'm just gonna go ahead and probably stop there. This is for keeping keeping myself well, and then I really want to take some notes because it's more important than this one particular day. I did a damn good job with notating this, and even my follow through from my action. But I'm just gonna leave it here for now. I think I'm just focusing on my journal at least for now. But I'm checking out. I'm gonna lock my account for the moment. All right, I'm going to mute.
Block sell. Block buy. block sell, Block sell. Block buy. Block buy. Block sell. Block sell. Block buy. Block sell. Block sell. Block sell. Block sell. block sell, block sell, block sell, block sell, block buy, block sell, block buy, block sell, block sell, Block buy. block sell, block buy, block sell, block buy, block buy, block sell, Block sell. Block buy. Block sell. Block buy. Block sell. Block buy. block buy, block buy, block buy, block buy, block buy, block buy, Block sell. Block buy. Block sell. Block buy. Block sell. block sell, block buy, block sell, block sell, block buy, block buy, block buy, block sell, block buy, block sell, block sell, block buy, 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 block sell,